Neuroscience is leading the translational research at the Institute and is becoming one of the most powerful clusters of labs working mainly on neurological diseases at our city and across Europe. We are 12 groups working in neuroscience with more than 100 people fully dedicated to do research at the bench. And we are working also very closely to clinicians. Many of those are consolidated groups that are also working with many other clinicians at the bedside in the hospital. We have a special area for incubating emerging groups. Our idea is that any neuroscientist who wants to do research at the Vall Hospital has a place to do it with us. The type of research we are doing in neuroscience has a wide scope, ranging from very basic research science groups to clinically oriented ones. But in any of those groups, I want to stress that patients are the main focus of our research, and we are thinking in patients from the design of our experiments to the final steps when we want to apply our research results. Basic groups working on mechanisms of neural death such as apoptosis, autophagy or necrosis support their science on animal models mimicking the main neurological disorders used to uncover molecular pathways of disease. In fact, we use several new experimental models of Parkinson's disease, stroke, multiple sclerosis, neuromuscular disorders such as pneumococcal disease mouse, and all those models give us the opportunity of screening new drugs to identify treatments for these neurological conditions. On the other side, we are conducting more applied or clinical research based on exceptional biobanking capabilities due to the proximity of the largest Catalan hospital, Vall d'Hebron, that gives us access to precious biological samples. That allowed several of our groups to become world leaders in the field of biomarkers and genetics. This is the case of groups working on multiple sclerosis, stroke, migraine, Alzheimer's disease, or several psychiatric disorders. Neurosurgeons are also very active in research and are especially productive in areas such as traumatic brain injury or normal pressure hydrocephalus. 2011 has been an exciting and excellent year for our research. We have published 889 articles, giving us an impact factor of 925 points. That's great, mainly because 6 of these articles were published in journals with impact factor higher than 20, such as Nature or several publications in Lancet Neurology. In one of the Nature, several neuroscience groups described the role of a new endonuclease, ENDO-G, in mitochondrial dysfunction. Another big hit in the area was the publication of the GWAS on multiple sclerosis, also in Nature. Immunologically relevant genes, such as those implicated in T helper cell differentiation, or less expected ones, such as those related with vitamin D metabolism, were discovered. Also, in that family of journals, the neuroprotective effect of rapamycin and its potential use in Parkinson and other neurodegenerative diseases was reported. Moreover, 3 more clinically oriented papers were published in Lancet Neurology, which covered the promising use of fingolimod in MS or the role of ApoE in specific subtypes of intracerebral hemorrhage. Also in 2011, genetic traits of several psychiatric conditions, mainly attention deficit and hyperactivity disorders, were reported in high impact factor journals, and the proteome of human brain ischemia and the genomics of several hemorrhages were described for the first time using human microdialysate and necropsic brain material. I want to stress that some of our findings are having really an impact in clinical guidelines. And for example, the neuroimmunology group has recently contributed to our reference publication renewing the diagnosis criteria of multiple sclerosis. We are now a really very large area, so we have to optimize our resources. We are working on this. In fact, we are planning to share technical staff or to share some of the more advanced platforms that we have. And we are now evaluating economical formulas to achieve this challenge in the near future. We have to potentiate transversal areas, such as those offered by the excellent group of neuroimaging that is leading the research in human neurological diseases by incorporating, for example, new micro-CT and other molecular imaging techniques to be applied also not only in humans but to our experimental models. Neurogenetics is also an expanding field, and the neuropediatric group is an example working very hard on development and neuromuscular disorders, and they are leading really a revolution by application of massive sequencing technologies, and every month they are discovering new genes of rare diseases. That is really a fascinating story, but the translation to the clinics needs support and investments. In this direction, a new group of bioinformatics will soon join the team of neuroscience. Many other groups are willing to join us, but we have space restrictions at the moment. Hopefully, the situation might change next year, so we have to be prepared in advance to plan which is the most convenient profile of those new groups joining the neuroscience area. Regarding people, we really want foreign researchers joining us to work in a more international environment. Each time, our science and our funds are getting more and more international. Therefore, this process is a must for neuroscience. Another priority is to accommodate our smarter local researchers through attractive contracts such as those offered by the Miguel Servet program that is bringing fresh air and new ideas to our labs. Also, a clear priority and a bet of our hospital is the research in the pre-symptomatic phases of neurodegenerative and neurovascular diseases. Neuroprevention will be a hot topic in the coming years. Finally, to transfer our knowledge to the society is our main duty. Next year, we expect to license some of our discoveries to biotech companies to really contribute to a new economical model based on brain knowledge. Networking is very important, and we are working to build up a strong alliance with the Neuroscience Institute at the Autonomous University in Barcelona. We think that together we might become the largest cluster of neuroscience research in Spain, and of course one of the leading centers in Europe. I'm also convinced that in the coming years, Vall-d'Hebron Institute of Research will be able to demonstrate that Barcelona is the ideal city to live for the neuroscientific community.